Hi guys, welcome back, and today I want to pretty much get going, but I do want to just say something first. Thank you for the support my most recent videos have been getting. It's been incredible. Things such as what if Broly was raised by Frieza, what if Chi-Chi became a Saiyan, my what if Raditz came early for Goku, and my what if Bardock managed to escape. They all did very well, and I'm very happy with how they went. And I just wanted to say thank you for all the support I've been getting, and I hope everyone's enjoying the content I'm putting out currently. And anyway, let's get going. We rejoin our heroes as they stare down with the Margin force, with Piccolo, who is now one of the Margin servants, giving Goku a look of anger and rage, with the likes of Boo looking around very curiously, trying to figure out what's about to happen, while the evil wizard Bobbity laughs, believing his Margin army to be unbeatable. Piccolo is the first one to make a move. The Namekian rushes straight towards the group, uh, heads towards the likes of Goku, who gets ready to fight the Namekian. However, the likes of Tien and Yamcha step out in front of the Saiyan. With their Kaioken forms blazed up, they begin to trade blows with Piccolo. The humans are working together and in perfect sync to fight Piccolo, with them saying how all Saiyans are going to be needed to fight against the likes of Boo. We'll deal with Piccolo. Piccolo smirking, thinking that he can kill the Earthlings first, he supposes, and then a battle breaks out between these three. And with this done, the likes of Goku and the other Saiyans all get ready to fight Majin Buu, with all of them jumping up to the Super Saiyan 2 form. Gohan is currently the weakest out of the group thanks to the fact the Saiyan had stopped training for pretty much all of the 7 years, and only really trained to get the Super Saiyan 2 form very early on, and after that had really stopped training. With all Saiyans now ready to fight, they all fly down towards Buu, with them being able to land a few good hits on the margin. The group soon learn of the margin's healing powers, and they have to find ways around it, with the likes of Goku, Gohan, and Raditz working in perfect sync with one another thanks to the fact they had been training somewhat together over the last few years. But the best pair is Goku and Raditz. And the other good pair would be Vegeta and Nappa, who work well together thanks to the fact they had always worked together. And this honestly leads to them to being able to fight off Boo very effectively. They just can't find a way around his healing factor, which is probably the biggest cause for an issue right now. With Babidi seeing the fact that his margin might lose, he decides that it might not be a bad idea to even out the playing field, and he begins to search through everyone's mind, seeing if he can find anyone with any hatred or evil in them. He starts with the strongest people he can sense. This is of course Goku and Raditz, with him not actually having any luck with Goku. However, he can sense something small within Raditz, a small amount of hatred towards the likes of Vegeta. With Babidi sensing this, he reads Raditz's mind a little bit and sees that Raditz and Vegeta don't get on, and that Vegeta is actually pretty evil. So, the next target for the wizard is of course Vegeta. With the wizard having a look around, it is very easy to crack into Vegeta's mind. The wizard is having a much easier time than in canon, which leads to Margin Vegeta coming around. With this happening, all fights are interrupted while Vegeta begins to laugh uncontrollably. This does confuse all the Z fighters. Piccolo, who is watching as well, already knows what's happening, and he's laughing to himself as well. With Nappa trying to figure out what's going on with his friend, he goes to grab Vegeta, with the Prince of All Saiyans then punching his follower in the gut, telling Nappa to remember his place where he ranks. With Raditz shouting out at Vegeta, this leads to Boo landing a hit on the Saiyan. Boo not caring about what's happening around him, he just loves being chaotic. Now, with this all going on, this leaves the likes of Goku and Gohan stuck in a fight with Boo, while the other Saiyans try and figure out what's going on. Now, over with Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta, the Saiyan Prince shows his anger towards Raditz by shouting out how no low class warrior should be anywhere near this strong. Raditz, confused, says how they left this hierarchy system in the past years ago, and with enough training, anyone can reach a level that even any Saiyan before couldn't reach. With Nappa watching his friend and getting back up, catching his breath, you can see a look in Vegeta's eye he hasn't seen in a few years. A crazed look of rage and just murder. With him staring down the likes of Raditz right now, who is honestly being pretty calm in this situation. Even though Raditz doesn't like Vegeta, he knows he needs to help. Raditz is trying to help calm Vegeta down, with Nappa also trying to help. With the likes of Raditz going on to say how this isn't the time for things like this, explaining to Vegeta that if he has a problem, they can solve it after this battle, but right now they have more pressing matters. However, Vegeta doesn't care, and he doesn't really give a damn what these low-class Saiyans have to say. He's the only real royal blood left. Yes, even though the likes of Nappa is pretty high class, he doesn't really care at this point. Nappa had lost all respect from Vegeta once he became soft like the Earthlings. Vegeta, just wanting to go back to his old Saiyan ways, tells Raditz that the low class don't stand a chance against the elites, and right now he will prove this to him. Raditz and Nappa both once again try and ensure Vegeta that this isn't the time and they can have a fight afterwards, but he doesn't care anymore. He challenges his Raditz, who right now doesn't really want to do this and wants to get back into the fight to help his brother and his nephew out. However, the likes of Vegeta doesn't care, and he wants this fight now. Without any warning, he rushes straight towards Raditz, who luckily stayed in his Super Saiyan 2 form, manages to block this attack, and soon the two are stuck in a lock, both getting ready to fight one another, and Raditz's anger towards Vegeta starting to bubble up even more. The two are very clearly about to break out into a fight, which can't really happen right now. But while this is happening, Nappa is wanting to stop them. With Raditz knowing that Nappa is going to do this, he shouts out for the Big Saiyan to go and help out Goku and Gohan. After all, this Boo guy is incredibly strong from what he can sense. He'll be able to deal with Vegeta on his own. Nappa agrees and soon rushes off to help the pair out. Nappa doesn't really want to leave, but he knows that the best bet of survival is to go and help those two out for now. With the two Saiyans currently locked in battle, they soon share a little bit of dialogue. Raditz trying once more to try and bring some sense into Vegeta, but it doesn't work, and the two begin their full-on fight. And I'm not going to cover this fight too much. It's probably very comparable to Goku versus Majin Vegeta in canon. However, there'll probably be some small changes here and there, and I don't see much point in covering that. Now, over with the likes of Boo, we see the fact that Nappa had now joined in the fight, has managed to make the fight a bit more in favour of the Z Fighters, and this gives Gohan and Goku a bit of a break during this fight, as Nappa can cover some of the issues they were having. But this isn't the fight we're covering. We're going back over to the likes of the humans, where Krillin has begun to turn back to normal. Even though Deborah died a while ago, he was still very drained from, using the Kaioken during the tournament and fighting Piccolo. So he was having to gather back some energy after turning back to normal. You can see the likes of Tien and Yamcha still fighting off Piccolo. And right now Piccolo is aiming to kill the bandit, more than he is aiming to kill Tien. With the pair being outmatched quite a bit, they want to try and fuse so they can take down Piccolo and start helping the others with the other opponents in front of them. And they realise that it's going to be a problem with Piccolo being so aware of everything. They also understand that they can't kill Piccolo right now as he is still linked to Kami. This meaning that they can't kill the Namekian, they have to knock him out. And once Krillin feels like he's ready to get back into the fight, he jumps up using his Kaioken times 50 and flies back into the fight to help out. This leads to the three being able to not only hold off Piccolo, but actually have the advantage. With a small fight happening before Krillin tells his friends to go off and use the fusion dance, and then knock this guy out. The pair agree and Krillin holds off Piccolo just for a few minutes, while the likes of Tien and Yamcha perform the fusion dance. And once again, Tiancha shows up, with the fusion using the Kaioken to output more power, and soon surpasses Piccolo's power. They speed past him and knock out the Namekian. With the fusion looking down towards what's happening with the Saiyans, they can see the battle between Raditz and Majin Vegeta is still going on, while the others are fighting a losing battle against Boo. Tiancha knows that the best bet they have is to get Raditz back into the fight and deal with Vegeta now. With him telling Krillin to go join the other three in the fight against Boo, he is going to deal with Vegeta. Krillin agrees and the fusion rushes off towards the likes of Majin Vegeta, who is currently beating Raditz very hard, thanks to the fact he got a boost like I said. And once Tiancha lands near the fight, Vegeta steps away from Raditz and gets ready to fight his new opponent. However, Tiancha has no intention of throwing any punches right now. He just wanted to get Vegeta off Raditz for just a few seconds, and Raditz does appreciate this, and he gets some time to catch his breath. Vegeta does laugh at the thought that the fusion can stop him. After all, He is hundreds of times stronger than ever, and this mere fusion and that little Kaioken thing won't do a thing against him. With Raditz asking the fusion to stay out of the fight, Tiencha says how there is really no time for this, and he tries, much like the other two had, to talk Vegeta out of this. They are on a very limited time right now, as the fusion dance has only got 30 minutes, and he tells Vegeta to not act like this while the world's in danger. However, the same prince doesn't care, claiming how this planet has made him softer, which has led to him being weaker, and at this point Raditz laughs. He laughs quite loudly as well. He explains to Vegeta that the world hasn't made him weaker. In fact, it's made all of the other Saiyans stronger. He says how his brother, who grew up on this planet, is the strongest Saiyan alive, and that's because of the Earthling's teaching that he should always push himself to become stronger, to be ready to fight the next person who's going to be stronger than him. There's always someone stronger than him out there, and that's how he views the world. And that's thanks to teachings from Earthlings. And I grew stronger to protect the people who are important to me, such as my wife or my brother. And you also have people like this you can protect. Even Nappa has people he wants to protect. The hybrids, the next generation of Saiyans, they're the people he cares about, and he will mentor them until he's bloody dead. You're the only one who hasn't found something to train for, something to protect, something you want to grow stronger for, and that's why you're behind us. And you'll never catch up with us as long as you train to be stronger than us. That's no reason to grow stronger. With Vegeta hearing this, he feels a bit of conflict, thinking about the friendship he and Nappa shares, and how proud he feels about his son sometimes, thinking about the fact that he hasn't ever really caught up with them. The only time he ever caught up was when he used the hyperbolic time chamber, and that isn't really a fair contest as they went in straight after and came out stronger than him. And during this moment of hesitation, Tien rushes at the prince, knocking him out, having to use his Kaioken times 30 to at least close the gap enough so he could do this. With Raditz thanking Tiancha for stepping in, the pair share a quick look before heading into the battle with the group who are fighting off Boo. With the pair joining, it begins to even out the fight a bit more, and Tiancha is arguably the most useful there. He's got a pretty good arsenal of techniques, and he's a fusion as well, meaning he's pretty strong. And thanks to the Kaioken, he can also level out with some of the Saiyans. With this being done though, there isn't much they can do to keep him down. Briefly, the likes of Tiancha and Goku talk about using the Spirit Bomb, but they know they would have to split off and they don't have the time to do this. So they have to keep fighting it for a while. The likes of Raditz isn't able to help much because he's pretty roughed up after the fight with Majin Vegeta, and the others are just trying to cover for him in that regards. And for a while the group fight a losing battle against Boo. And once the likes of Tien and Yamcha defuse, the group realise that they need to get out of there. They need to escape. And this is when the Supreme Kai, who had been watching for a while, steps in. He sees the group's in danger and he knows he needs to help in some way or another. He teleports in near them and tells all of them to grab one another. He then teleports away to the planet of the Supreme Kai. And this is where we see the likes of Kibito standing there, greeting all of them and getting ready to heal all of them. He's not happy about the fact that mortals have entered the world, but he also understands that these are the people who are more than likely able to stop Boo. With the Saiyans getting Zenkais from this, everyone looks around and realizes that they had left Vegeta behind, and this means that not only is Majin Buu on the planet, the likes of Piccolo and Vegeta are also there, with no one really there to be able to defend the planet. The only true defense is Goten, Trunks, and the androids. The group not liking the idea of leaving the fate of the planet to these people, not because they don't trust them, but because they aren't strong enough. They start brainstorming ideas, with them coming up with a few ideas that could possibly work. Thanks to the fact that Tien and Yamcha have the instant transmission technique, they do consider using that to get Majin Buu, Piccolo, and Vegeta separated, and then they can do something from there. Or the Spirit Bomb's considered, much like they did in the fight, however it's brainstormed a bit more. But the person who comes up with the best plan is Raditz. He already knows what he wants to do, and asks that the likes of Tien and Yamcha show him how to do the fusion dance. The group realised that if the likes of Raditz and Goku would to fuse, it would be more than enough power to deal with all of the margins. and Raditz does ask his brother to be his partner in this dance. Goku does agree and joins his brother to learn this dance. The group form a plan where the likes of Gohan, Nappa, and Krillin will all head back to Earth to buy the group who are learning the dance some time, and they will only be able to buy them a few hours, is what they explain. And once they had learned the dance, they will come back to Earth. With this being the plan, Supreme Kai teleports the three to Earth, while the other two Saiyans start practicing the dance, with Yamcha and Tien pretty much walking them through every step. Now we join the likes of Vegeta on Earth. He had woken up a few minutes after the group had left, and he's now looking around. He's able to see the likes of Boo talking to Piccolo and Babidi, with the saying a bit confused. He's been stuck in his thoughts while being unconscious, and during this time he came to the conclusion that Raditz is right. He could be stronger maybe if he chose to defend people he cares about. He just hides these feelings as it's not very Saiyan-like, and it felt to him like it was making him weaker. He does care for people. The woman, Trunks, even Nappa. And while he was unconscious, he came to terms with this and knows that he wants to try and save this planet he would have tried to destroy not too long ago. With Babidi seeing the Saiyan getting up, he tells his servant to come over to him. With Vegeta standing up, he explains how he was once someone's lapdog once, and he never plans on being someone else's. He's a Saiyan, and he won't be controlled so easy. With Vegeta beginning to go through a bit of mental turmoil against Babidi, who's trying to take more control over Vegeta. However, Vegeta manages to push back into the pilot seat of his own body, and he raises his hands upwards to send off a blast straight towards the likes of Babidi. Boo does stop this attack, with the wizard telling his new Margin servant to stop the Saiyan. Boo does so quite happily. After all, the last few Saiyans he fought were fun, so this one might be as well. Vegeta gets ready to fight Boo, however, the Saiyan is massively outclassed, and Boo just beats him around like a rag doll. Vegeta does manage to land a few good hits in, but every sort of damage he does is soon healed back thanks to the incredible healing factor the Margin has. And Vegeta is now in a very bad spot. He's very much gonna die during this fight if he can't think of something, and Boo is in a position to kill him. Babidi tells him to do so, and Boo is just about ready to do it when a shout of "now" takes everyone by surprise. With a quick disc cutting through the air, cutting through Boo, everyone is surprised when another attack shoots out of nowhere, with a blue wave hitting Boo from the side and separating his body even more. And once the Margin is across the floor everywhere, pieces of him being spread around the battlefield quite well, another attack happens underneath the Margin's remains. A glow begins to happen across the floor before an explosion happens. Vegeta recognizes this attack as Nappa's giant explosion, and he tries to look for the power of his friend, but can't sense it. With Boo slowly reforming, Vegeta takes a chance to fire at Babidi once again. Piccolo manages to block this attack for his master, however he has to heal up quite a bit after it. And once this is done, Vegeta realizes that the three people who just saved him weren't the people he was expecting. When he looks down to his left and right, he sees the likes of Goten, Trunks, and Marin. Vegeta's confused, but also amazed that these three children had just managed to come up with a plan to at least slow down Majin Buu, before seeing the three get ready to fight. Vegeta has no plans to stop them, and he looks towards the three, telling them, "Nice work. You managed to stop Buu from killing me there. But I don't want you all to get cocky. Your fathers didn't have enough power to stop this thing, so you guys are way too weak to even be fighting him. Just stand your ground and be ready to die like a warrior." Before looking towards Trunks and saying how he's proud of his son, this gives Trunks a massive smile, but the three know this isn't the time. They all nod and get ready to help out with this fight. Boo is fully formed once again, and enraged at this time. After all, someone used a sneaky trick to beat him. With the Margin steaming in anger, they all get ready to fight, when the likes of Nappa, Gohan, and Krillin are all dropped off by Shin, with the Kai leaving almost immediately. With the three who have just been dropped off shocked to see the kids, they begin to scold them, with Vegeta stopping them, saying how the kids just saved his life. With him looking at Nappa and the other two, They will need all the help they can get right now. These three kids are willing to sacrifice their lives to defend their planet. There is no higher way to die as a warrior, so if they want to stay, let them stay. With Nappa confused at this change in Vegeta, he agrees, saying how this is sort of why they train their kids. Krillin and Gohan do reluctantly agree, but Krillin says how if things are getting too rough, he wants Marin and the other two to leave. This is agreed upon, and everyone explains the plan to Vegeta, how they are going to buy time for Goku and Raditz to learn the fusion technique. Everyone understands and goes all out from the start, getting ready to fight Buu. With this mismatch of fighters being able to actually hold off Buu quite well, the only issue happens when the likes of Piccolo joins in the fight. And this is because Piccolo is singling out some of the stronger fighters and using some of the tricky techniques he's learnt during his time with Babidi to interfere with what they're doing, with the likes of Piccolo aiming to take down Krillin first, just for his own little bit of revenge. And at some point, the bold fighter realizes this and decides that he will have his rematch with Piccolo now. He flies off into a different direction, only a few feet away from the fight with Majin Buu, and Piccolo follows very happily, and a 1v1 breaks out between the two. The others are dealing with Majin Buu pretty well even without Krillin being there, and luckily, this is thanks to the fact that Hisame pretty much has all the same techniques that Krillin would provide. The only difference is she doesn't have the Spirit Bomb, but that isn't really a plan right now. With the fight between Krillin and Piccolo going pretty normal, how you would expect it to go. The only issue is that Krillin is losing quite bad, and throughout the fight, Krillin has a plan form. He hates the idea of using it and knows that he could put his life in risk, but slowly throughout the fight, he increases his Kaioken output just a little by little, letting his body adjust to it before increasing it a small amount more. And with his ever increasing power happening, Piccolo soon picks up on this and begins to push on Krillin even harder. Krillin is nowhere near catching up to Piccolo's power yet, but he has managed to push himself up to a 60 times multiplier. And once he reached this point, he realizes that if he pushes this slow, he's never going to be able to take down Piccolo. He's going to have to hit Piccolo hard and take him down. Krillin decides to risk his own life with this next attack. The Earthling decides to double his current Kaioken limit, just to make sure that he either kills Piccolo or knocks him out, knowing that the group can survive without him in the fight against Buu, and knowing that Piccolo could cause more problems than good if he's left. The Earthling shouts out Kaioken times 120, a form he is very unsure if he can even hold, but using this, his power eclipses that of Piccolo's, with him throwing one punch towards the Namekian with enough force to kill him. Enough force to kill him completely. The Namekian is destroyed, but it takes a massive toll on Krillin's body. Even holding it for just those few seconds, it was too much. His body rips apart and he dies. With the likes of Krillin dying and Piccolo dying, it also means we lose Kami here, with this leading to the Dragon Balls now being inactive. This happening, Marin begins to scream in sadness and rage, her power once again bursting upwards and her transforming much like she did in the tournament. He manages to hit a few good hits in on Buu before his power is too much and her rage capsizes a little bit. But one person who's famous for this rage, one person who hasn't had too many rage moments in this series yet, begins to fume in anger. Krillin was sort of a second father to him, and now he's going to put the likes of Buu in his place. Gohan begins to scream, and his power rushes straight up. With him now eclipsing Super Saiyan 3 Goku in canon, shoots off a Kamehameha straight through Boo's gut. The beam doesn't do much to hurt Boo, but after cutting through Boo, it continues flying and hits Babidi, destroying the wizard. Gohan then unleashes another flurry of blows on Boo, with these doing some good damage. However, once Gohan calms down, his power drops dramatically down to where it used to be. With everyone using this chance to get a few good hits in on the margin, they actually managed to push him back quite a bit and actually managed to almost take him down. The only issue is just a small fraction of Boo survived, and this leads to him soon healing back up. It takes him a while, but he does come back. The group once again start their fight. However, after a few hours, nearly 3 whole hours going by, they are pretty much out of energy. with the only person really managing to stand right now is Vegeta. And this is thanks to the fact his pride won't let him sit down. Everyone is unable to move thanks to ki exhaustion or just injuries on their own. Vegeta is currently being beaten within an inch of his life. No one having the power to save him, and they all watch in fear, with three sudden powers suddenly appearing. One is Supreme Kai, another being Tencha, and the last one is a person who looks very familiar. But they just can't figure out why. It doesn't take long for them to figure out that this is the fusion between Goku and Raditz, with the fusion introducing himself as Goditz before jumping up to Super Saiyan. And this battle is very much in Goditz's favour. It quickly deals with Boo, knowing that they are on a short timer here. They don't waste any time. They land a few hits in up close before disintegrating it using a double Kamehameha. This destroys Majin Buu completely, and they turn back to the group saying how that wasn't too hard, was it? Before giving a bit of a smirk and a laugh. Knowing they have a while left of their fusion, they turn towards the Supreme Kai and Kibito, asking them to heal the likes of the group that are there, before turning to Tencha, asking to be taken to Namek. With the plan having already been talked through, Tencha knew what he was doing and had already found Namek using his ability to sense ki. The pair suddenly disappear, and the better part of an hour goes by. Shin and Kibito had healed all of the group, when suddenly the likes of Krillin is revived, and soon Goku, Raditz, Tien, Yamcha, and Namekian they have never seen before returns to Earth. And this is where I'm leaving this part. It's going to be a shorter part because I did a 40-minute video last week, so I just wanted a bit of a break. But I just wanted to cover the Boo saga. I didn't know how this saga was going to go, and looking at it, it probably could have been done a bit better, but so many sayings, I couldn't say with confidence that Boo would have made it past that first encounter. The only thing keeping him in the fight was the fact that he had backup because of Margin Piccolo, and he also had a good healing factor. And if the Spirit Bomb was used, it probably would have ended it. But I wanted to do something a bit different and have a fusion show up. Because I don't often get to play around with fusions, and I saw the opportunity, so I took it. I hope people liked it. I plan on doing What If Taba Went to Earth with Goku next, and I'm really looking forward to doing that part. This was just something to fill some time. And I know I said something about Nappa having a love life in this. It's going to happen just in the next part, and I'll give a backstory behind all of that. And I hope everyone's looking forward to it. I don't really know what else to say, so I hope everyone has a great day or good night. And let me know what you thought about this part. See you all next time.